Aaron Ellis, some.
All right. Welcome. Sixth 2025 meeting of Queens Community Board 2. Let's get started with the pledge, if you would. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you for that. Before we get started, let's acknowledge that it's a new day in New York City, especially for brown guys with beards. I'd like to congratulate Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani. I do have 4 words for you. Please go to bed. The videos can wait. Yeah, there's always time. But in all seriousness, Queens Community Board 2 looks forward to working with the next administration. We have a packed agenda today. There's a golden rule, WAIT, why am I talking? So please keep that in mind before you request the time. Elected officials, reps, please try to stick to 2 minutes. I mean, you can go over, but around 2 minutes. And board members, I am limiting questions to 5 max for everyone, and priority will be given to people who haven't spoken yet. And so with that, let's go to the reports from representatives of elected officials, starting with Evelyn Lee.
Thank you. Hi, good evening, everyone. Nice to see you again. I'm Evelyn Lee from Congresswoman Grace Meng's office. Not much update from me today because unfortunately the government is still in shutdown. That makes it really hard for us to do a lot of things. But again, our office is still open and we're ready to serve the constituents as always. And although, like we also mentioned last month, many federal agencies, including ICE, are unfortunately not responding to any of our inquiries during shutdown. So that makes our work even more difficult. But while some of you might have heard the federal judge today in Rhode Island just ordered that Trump administration must to pay full amount of the November SNAP benefits by tomorrow. But we know he's not the kind of guy who's going to follow the laws. So we're going to see what happens tomorrow. But whatever happens, the Congresswoman remains committed to pushing back any budget proposal that would harm our communities, including attempts to cut SNAP, healthcare, or other essential benefits for families, seniors, veterans, and people with disabilities. And also just to follow a little bit on what Anna just said, congratulations to our mayor-elect. Hopefully that's gonna bring something new to us starting next year. And then just like what the Congresswoman said after after the election on Twitter, the Democrats our coalition is a big tent, and we may not agree on a lot of issues, but we stand together against any attempts to harm our families, to hurt our working families, to ignore the law. So let's see what happens after this. Let's hope for the best. Thank you.
Questions?
All right, thank you.
Tiffany here yet? Okay. Then Mercedes from Senator Gianaris' office.
Good evening, CB2. Again, my name is Mercedes Jennings. I'm the Community Liaison for State Senator Michael Gianaris' office. And again, thank you so much for having me this evening. I just have very few updates. Just again, as you're aware of the shutdown, we been having a lot of schools as well as representatives from the community contacting our office, asking for resources for like pantry soup kitchens, just in case this SNAP situation takes longer. Hopefully it does not. So we've been providing those resources to the schools. The center also tweeted about it to contact our office if there's any questions or need connection to services in the community or in the 5 boroughs to get access to food. So just wanted to let everyone know that. In addition to that, the senator made a comment that he is in support of the new administration for the mayor, and in hopes that, especially one of the platforms about childcare, so hopefully we could have that rolled out faster and it not be a 10 to 15-year project, that people should have affordable childcare for their children in New York City. So just wanted to make those 2 quick updates. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, then, Ben Lotto from, yeah, you're up. And then Dolma and then Steph.
Thank you so much. I guess yeah, I'll leave it. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Benjamin from Assemblymember Mamdani's office, Communications Director. Sorry. How do you? Oh, no problem. Okay, to start, as mentioned, as we are all painfully aware, due to the government shutdown, SNAP benefits are reduced and on pause. As mentioned, there was a ruling today by a federal judge, but it's unclear how that will play out in the medium to long term. And so in the meantime, our office is working diligently with city, state, and federal partners to help find food distribution networks until benefits are restored. And through that line, we recommend New Yorkers go to foodbank.nyc.org/find-food to find free food distributions throughout New York City, including Long Island City. If you need help finding distributions further and accessing food to help with past SNAP benefits, please feel free to contact our office. We're more than happy to help. Lastly, as you may have heard, this past week, Assemblymember Mamdani was elected mayor of New York City. I wanted to provide a brief update on what that means for our office. Our office remains 100% operational until January 1st. Please continue to come to us for any state government-related matters if you do need assistance. We have no information on the mayoral transition or any information related to the upcoming mayoral administration, and we remain a government office legally distinct from both of those entities. Our goal until January 1st is to continue to serve the constituents of Long Island City and Astoria, or Assembly District 36. Any questions? Yeah.
Mike.
Okay, so I think I may be the only community board member in 36. So what does this mean on January 1st at noon or whenever it is for those of us who won't have an assembly member representative? Because it'll be what, 60 days until the election, something like that?
Yeah, so it's a good question. The government will announce a special election, which should occur February, March, somewhere in that range. Not involved with that transition or that process, but what I can say is in the meantime, you still have a state senator and a city council member.
Oh,
who can
Kristen
assist.
Gonzalez, okay.
Correct. And so Senator Gonzalez can assist, or Senator Janaris, or Tiffany Caban, and various other federal officials too.
Thank you.
So someone over here had a hand. Okay. Yes.
The mic, please. Danielle, mic.
Can you just repeat that website address again for the food bank?
Yeah. So it's foodbanknyc.org/find-food. And there's a map that shows you all the free pantries and food distribution networks.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Yes.
It's to piggyback off of what Lauren just said. I work for a food rescue organization. So you can go to also City Harvest, because the other ones are very long, cityharvest.org. There's a food map there available. If the community board wants additional food maps, I can provide that as well. So it is a great need. I'm going to tell you, I'm on the front lines. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Don't, yeah.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Delma Lama. I'm the district director at the Office of Assemblyman Stephen Raga. I know my colleague Jamie is the one who's usually joining this, and this is my second CB2 meeting, so good to see you all again. I do have a few updates. First of all, Assembly member is in Albany, like several other elected Somos, Puerto Rico, like several other elected officials. And my colleague Jamie is also there. So I'm here. Someone has to take care of the district. Few updates. The FOIL bill that got vetoed, our LEDGE team is working to refile it and working with other electeds team to make sure, it's going to be the process. Jamie should be the one who will update you in the next meeting on any developments, but just that update that I had to share. And in SOMOS, we are co-sponsoring several workshops that's related to housing, economic development, and census. So just wanted to give you that update. Echoing what my colleagues have said earlier, we're very saddened with the SNAP situation and have been receiving a lot of the calls from constituents about, food pantry, soup kitchen, and our office has been diligently working on compiling. We do have a list, but compiling as many as we can. But you can always reach out to our office if you need that resource. We can be reached at 718-651-3185. So if anyone of someone you know needs that resource for SNAP, please feel free to reach out. There are a couple of, as we prepare for the holiday season, we are hosting several events throughout the district. We're bringing back our turkey giveaway, and it's set to happen November 22nd. So if you would like to get a turkey from our office, please call our office. And there are several tree lightings also happening that we're co-sponsoring with other electeds. Two in Elmhurst, one is in CC Moore this December 8th, and one is in December 2nd for Veterans Grove. If there's anything, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be here throughout the night to answer your questions. Thank you.
Steph from something.
Hello, just a few quick updates. I think we have covered the SNAP benefits. We're on the same page. We sent out a list of food pantries in and around our district to our constituents. So if you're a constituent and just want to see like a short list of specific pantries, you can reach out to us. We'll get you that. Also want to continue to just shout out fellow colleagues in government. Our offices are all coordinating very closely on various ICE sightings, and please contact our offices if you see anything. We're in chats and continuing to coordinate on that work. Also wanted to give an update on green asphalt. Our office, along with several other offices, met with them, and they said they are working on complying with the DEC consent order to double the stack height by December 11th. And if they don't, they will cease their operations. So that is what they told us, and we will make sure that they are held accountable for that.
Yes, regard to green asphalt.
Yes.
my opinion, I don't think they're going to reach that deadline by December 10th.
Yeah.
Maybe God works a great miracle with them. But if they don't and they cease the operation, are they still going to be fined that $100,000+ that they're supposed to? I think it's a $125,000 fine if those stacks didn't go up. Will that be applied to them?
Is it an additional fine if they do not comply, or
Yeah.
the original?
The original.
I believe so, but I can double check on that.
I believe they only gave up $25,000 out of the $125,000. I just want to make sure if they don't reach that milestone by December 10th, that they are forced to pay that. And if there's additional fines that need to be applied, that'll be applied to them. I don't know if it can and how long they have, but whatever information you can provide would be very great.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll make a note of that.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Also about green asphalt, it's my understanding that they would need to cease operations anyway for the winter time for December 12th. So what repercussions would they have if they restarted operations after the winter?
If they hadn't doubled the stack height?
Yeah.
What they told us was that they will, which obviously we'll see if that actually happens, that they will cease operations until they are compliant. If they're not compliant, they will not be operating.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Tiffany, sorry, I didn't see you before from Congressman Velasquez's office.
Good evening, CB2. I hope you had a oh. Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, okay. I hope you had a wonderful October and well into November. Here we are. We are well into the government shutdown. Today is day 37. Yes, we are counting as essential workers. We are tired. So some impact on services. I gave a brief update last week. About the same thing, the same services are still being impacted. Of course, SNAP is something very new. On October 30th, a few days ago, the Congress member actually signed onto a letter with 20 other of the New York State congressional delegation urging Trump to ensure that all New Yorkers will receive SNAP benefits without delay. So 2 federal judges last week ordered the Trump administration to use emergency money to keep the SNAP benefits program from going. The Trump administration is not fully allocating these funds. Individual families were told that it could take up to weeks to receive these partial SNAP benefits. However, after another hearing today, a federal court judge ordered the Trump administration to provide full November payments to SNAP by tomorrow. A statement or response has yet to be released by the Trump administration whether they would comply or push back to the court orders. But as this is an active and ongoing case, our office has created informational flyers, just as all of our other elected officials have done so. I've just how to access some food access for you guys is on the back, just really quick steps. Quickly, the link is finder.nyc.gov/food help/locations. They're all at the front table up there. If you ever just want to come by, grab some, or just have a quick chat with me, please do so. As I said, our office is open during the federal shutdown as we are deemed essential workers. So please feel free to use us. Reach out for any questions, comments, concerns. If you want to rant, please do so. We could be reached at 718-340-6244. All right, any questions, concerns? Okay, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Tiffany. Claire, there you are, from Borough President Richard's office.
Hey guys, my name's Claire from the Office of Queensborough President Donovan Richards. I know it's usually Laura. She'll be here next week. She was just busy, so don't get too attached. All right. Today was our Veterans Celebration at Borough Hall. We presented awards to several distinguished military veterans from Queens as we honored the sacrifices of those who served our nation. Okay. November 19th, we're hosting our Transgender Day of Remembrance ceremony at Queensborough Hall, along with our co-sponsors, Caribbean Equality Project and Make the Road New York. We're going to pay tribute to the transgender brothers and sisters that we've lost to violence this year. And then finally, on November 25th at 6 p.m. on Zoom is our monthly virtual parent advisory board meeting. As usual, this meeting is open to everybody, so you don't have to have a kid or be one to advocate for our public schools. So you can RSVP to any of these events, and the link for all the Zoom are on our website, which is queensbp.nyc.gov. Thank you.
Narissa from DA Katz's office.
Hello, everyone. My name is Narissa Martinez, and I am a community coordinator at Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz's office. Two quick things today. Coincidentally, as well, we're talking about a case here concerning Assemblymember Zohran Mamdani. Jeremy Festel of Plano, Texas, was indicted by a grand jury on September 4th and arraigned on September 18th on charges of making terroristic threat as a hate crime and related crimes for voicemail and written messages left for New York State Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani. The messages began in June 2025 and continued through July. As alleged, the defendant threatened an elected official by leaving a series of increasingly alarming anti-Muslim messages with the office of Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani. The defendant told the assemblyman to go back to Uganda before someone shoots him in the head, to keep an eye on his house and family, and to watch his back every second until he leaves America, and that he and his relatives deserve to die. DA Katz quoted and said, "Let me be very clear, we take threats of violence against any office holder extremely seriously, and there is no room for hate or bigotry in our political discourse. The defendant has now been extradited to Queens to face the serious charges against him. If convicted of the top charge, the defendant faces up to 15 years in prison." Queens Supreme Court Justice Michelle A. Johnson ordered Festel to return to court on November 19th. So District Attorney Melinda Katz has recently announced the prosecution of a Bayside woman who is charged with running a pig butchering scheme. The term pig butchering comes from the scammer building trust with the victim, or fattening him up before taking all of the victim's money. The culprit in this case allegedly duped 17 people from across the country out of more than $2.1 million. Some of you may have heard about this con before, but it involves a stranger befriending you on Facebook or another social media platform and striking up a friendship. The new friend chats with you regularly until you trust them, and then they just happen to mention an investment opportunity. This will be a sure thing that you can't pass up, but it is actually fraudulent. So we just want to remind all of you to be vigilant about protecting yourself. I actually have some sheets here, frauds alert, that just talks about some scams that we've been seeing come up. And we also have a bureau dedicated to frauds, and you can reach that number, or us at that number, which is 718-286-6673. And if you'd like one of those sheets, I have some in the back here, but I'll be sitting right over there. And I have a bunch. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Narissa. And we'll continue with our community partners. Marco from Woodside on the Move, please. Also, while Marco's coming up, I just want to recognize Walter Sanchez, the chair of Queens Community Board 5 from Maspeth and Ridgewood. So thank you for being here.
Good evening, everybody. How we doing today? Swag. Okay. Hey, I'm the lead community associate from Woodside on the Move. We have direct services such as caseworking, both involving tenant rights and signing up for HRA. We have workshops, knowing your right as a tenant. I'm nervous. It's my first time. Both knowing your rights as a tenant and both as a renter, and also immigrant rights workshops that we host on a monthly basis. We have had a couple community events such as Halloween. Everybody that popped up for our haunted house over here at PS 361, thank you. We appreciate it. We also have another cleanup coming up. We had one on October 25th, but we got one coming up here on November 15th. So come and pop out. We had a great turnout of about 25 people coming to clean up Woodside. So we're really excited about that. I've seen it brought up here before about a comprehensive list for all the food benefits. At every single table, there's a packet, both having the thing. We got a Thanksgiving event coming up. We're giving away turkeys and stuff like that, of course, and we have a Christmas tree lighting. But on the third page, we have a document called Where to Find Food that has a comprehensive list with 3 QR codes, both for resources native to Queens, but also across all the boroughs. There's a Excel document in one of those QR codes that'll take you to every food resource that we have so far. You can edit it at your leisure, but that's everything that we have so far. I think that's about everything I have to say. Thank you.
Welcome, Marco. And then Henry from LIC Partnership.
Hello. Couple of things to announce today. Today we had our ribbon cutting for our bee mural on Vernon Boulevard and Queens Boulevard. Thank you. Shout out Carisha, who was there and made a great speech. Also wanted to announce that last night we had a public meeting for our mobility study on Queens Plaza and Jackson Avenue. If anyone has any further comments, just come talk to me. We want to hear from everyone, but the study will be released in 2026. And then lastly, for our DRI project, Greening and Cleaning, we've opened the outreach phase and have a survey where we're asking the public to let us know where they want trees, trash cans, and all things in between. Thanks. Yeah.
Mike for Warren.
Yeah, I want to make mention that your office sent out a email to various partners of yours for flood information. I want to know if you would share the information of how the different partners responded and where they're seeing those flood issues at. I don't know if that's something you share with the community board, but it would be very appreciative.
Yeah. I guess for flood issues, just to be honest, it was all over Long Island City. We got a really good response to the survey and happy to talk more further about the results. But in terms of response, we're still working through 311 cases in each of them individually. Yeah.
All right. We'll come back to, I think that concludes our elected officials and community partners. And now we'll move to the next item of the agenda, our guest speakers from LaGuardia Community College. So, well, I guess my time's up. Manny and Claudia, please.
Thank you so much. Good evening. So my name is Manny Romero. I'm the Vice President for Communications and External Affairs at LaGuardia Community College. I'm here to talk a little bit about supporting the renaming of 33rd Street, Rawson Street, 7th Train subway stop. As many of you know, LaGuardia Community College is an anchor institution in Western Queens. For over 50 years, we've proudly served thousands of residents for Queens and beyond, offering more than 50 associate degrees and certificate programs. Each year, over 25,000 students come through our doors. LaGuardia is recognized nationally as a model for student success, ranked 5th among U.S. community colleges for helping low-income individuals move into the middle class and beyond. A majority of our students rely on the 7 train to get to campus. Renaming the station would not only provide clarity for riders, but also instill a sense of pride for our students. This change would honor LaGuardia's legacy of educational excellence and its transformative impact on the Queens community. It would serve as a lasting tribute to the college's enduring value and commitment to opportunity and equity. We would like for Community Board 2 to support us in renaming the station to 33rd Street LaGuardia Community College. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Any questions?
Yep. Mike, for me, please.
Hey, this is more internally for us, but what's our next step here? Have we brought this to the Transportation Committee, or what are we doing?
So this was brought to the Transportation Committee last month, and we approved. We endorsed this. We think it makes sense. So as far as our next steps, I think you were talking to the Assembly member about this.
Correct. On our side, we are working with Senator Generis and Claire Valdez as well, who are working together to present legislation for the formal request.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one more. Oh, good.
Hey, I just really quickly want to say I got to see the 29th Street Greenway for the first time, and it was awesome. I did so great work with that.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And we, of course, appreciated CB2 support in that. It was definitely a big effort in part of having our faculty, staff, and community members. So we invite everyone to continue to come and visit the Greenway. Thank you.
Hi. So have you tried to do anything to preserve the historic name? I mean, there was a lot of advocacy at one time to have the historic name of that site be renamed at that time. Is there something to put a plaque or to make a request of that sort that you could
Are
do?
you speaking about the 29th Street?
No, I'm talking about the
LaGuardia. The stop.
The Rawson stop.
We've been doing some research. We have our team, our archives team, also doing some research in terms of how the name was originally put together, 33rd and Rawson. Our understanding is that there was a business located somewhere in the neighborhood. And what we're trying to do now is to continue to move forward in learning a little bit more about the history. But what our goal is to have LaGuardia Community College as part of the name.
I understand. And I'm not even talking about the signage. I'm talking about a request for some other sort of commemoration of that historic name, whether it be a plaque or something else that you could request in addition to what you're requesting now.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I think for us, what we want to do is certainly recognize the history of the city and, of course, LaGuardia as well. So, yeah, I certainly would be looking to do that as well. Our efforts, as I said, we're working with elected officials. We're working with members of our institution as well. But putting together, putting a plaque, I certainly think is a wonderful idea.
Yeah, that would be great if you could work on that. I know there are neighbors, people in the neighborhood who would appreciate that.
Thank
So,
you. Yeah,
thank
that's a wonderful suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Manny, for being a good partner to CB2. Yeah, that's a great idea, Lisa. Yeah, I think totally makes sense. DCP, please.
Hello, everybody. I'm Katie Crawford from the Department of City Planning. I have a couple of updates for you tonight. The first one is related to the industrial plan. We had the town hall back in October 25th, and I'm proud to announce that Queens had the best attendance out of all of the boroughs. So thank you all for everyone who came out and provided comments. We're still processing the comments from the engagement sessions, and they are working on preparing the final plan. So that's my update on the industrial plan. And my next update is on the LIC plan. We are still moving through the ULURP process, and the plan is with City Council. There's a vote planned for next week where we're anticipating getting the final vote. Before then, the City Council has proposed a few modifications to the plan, and so I'm going to walk through those briefly now. So 3 changes were requested by council to the proposal, but the proposal will still deliver on the creation of close to 14,700 new homes, of which approximately 4,300 would be permanently income restricted and rent regulated. And the plan would still create nearly 3.5 million square feet of new floor area for commercial and community facility uses and allow space to support approximately 14,400 new jobs in the neighborhood. So getting into the changes, there are two changes to the proposed zoning text. The first applies to the waterfront. So the change to the text will allow for greater flexibility over tower widths on the city-owned sites by the waterfront. The next text change is related to the district adjacent to Queensbridge houses, which was a question that I got last month. So the council introduced a lower height zone of 350 feet for the first 100 feet, basically that abuts Queensbridge houses. So basically tower heights will step down as they get closer to 21st Street to try and pull the height away from the campus. And then the last change is to the MIH areas. City Council has proposed mapping option 1 and 3 along the waterfront and waterfront subdistrict, and option 3 in the inland portion of the LIC Special District. Our initial proposal included option 2, but that's been removed from the plan by Council. So MIH options 1 and 3 require set-asides with lower household income than option 2. Option 1 averages at 60% AMI and option 3 averages at 40% AMI, whereas option 2 averages at 80% AMI. So trying to take the recommendation of providing resources for lower income folks. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, maybe about a week or two ago, I saw the council member on New York One do an interview, and I've received notification since then of securing about $200 million in the north section of One LIC, which would give investment to people in Queensbridge and the surrounding context area. But I hear nothing about the southern part of the One LIC context, and that would include my area in which I live in, Blissville. We would like to see what the Queensborough president put forth, including us in those investments, along with Community Board 2. So please don't think that we're going to stop asking, and it should be done right. We should be done right. Thank you.
I will absolutely share those comments back. Thank you.
Yeah, so what will be the impact of the increased width of those buildings on the waterfront?
We actually had a scope determination in front of the CPC yesterday, and it's been determined that the changes are within scope. So the changes are determined to be within the scope of the environmental review.
And is that with the intention of adding more units in those buildings? Is that it?
It really just provides like more flexibility for like designing the actual sites. But the number of units for the project as a whole, as well as number of affordable units, are remaining the same from the initial proposal.
Right, but if you're reducing the units closest to NYCHA, where are you going to make that up?
It's really more a height like limit. So basically the first 100 feet from 21st Street has a 350-foot height limit. And then the height is also limited, I think, to 750 feet for the remainder of that district. So it's not anticipated that there's going to be a reduction in units. It's really just putting height controls where we didn't initially have height controls proposed.
I had a similar question, Elisa. What was the reasoning behind the city council doing number 1? Like, what does greater flexibility mean?
I cannot speak to the discussions that went on and the decisions that council made. That is something that we could maybe have some more clarity on at the land use committee,
Sounds
but
good.
yeah.
Thank you. Also, really quick, 2 and 3 were things that our community board had asked for, so it's really good to see them both come through.
That's it. Thank you.
Now we'll move to general public comment. I know we have some folks ready to speak about the EULA project we have, and we'll take those comments after that presentation. If right now I'll call up Orlando Bispo. Yep, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Orlando Bispo. I represent the corporation into the estate on 4125 Queens Boulevard. I would just like to request a petition. I want to put a sign in front of my store that says no smoking from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. because the children's air quality absolutely matters to me. Also, I would like to put a book thing there with really good books, nice ones, the ones that I like to read, things about like law, how to build a trust, how to protect yourself from tyranny. Those are the two lighthearted things. Get out of the way. But I just wanted to let you know that I have appropriately predicated to the motion of enforcement because there was a memorandum on the 15th of July that I know that this office got. And I did go to the precinct this morning at the 108, and I did try to approdicate myself to judiciary review. Okay, and I tried to speak normally. Okay, we are a Key Club and Global Kids International alumni as well as a former dignitary to the UN. And we are very upset at what has been happening up until this point. For a color code of color of policy is unacceptable. Do not plot harm against your neighbors when no one has done you harm. Do not violent, wicked people. Such behavior is detestable to the Lord, but he offers his friend to the godly. Thank you. This is my notice to you. Amen. Already have spoken to the Court of Claims. Thank you.
Is it Glamis? Hi.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First time here as well.
Welcome.
But I'm definitely not nervous. Okay, so what I wanted to come here is just to present myself and to let you know that there is a loan fund that was announced today for businesses, for small businesses who have been affected because of the government shutdown. It's up to $50,000. It has to be business food related that they have not, their sales have declined due to the EBT or any SNAP, you know, those benefits. So we are processing those loans and helping entrepreneurs at LaGuardia Community College Small Business Development Center. For that organization that I am the interim director. And so I wanted to introduce myself and let you know that I am on a mission to save the center. It is located at LaGuardia Community College. So I'm here to let you know that. Any businesses that need assistance, please let them know that we're open for business and we want them to come and see us. Absolutely at no cost. Okay, thank you.
Question. Sorry.
Thanks. Thank you for what you're doing. Who's funding? Where's the funding coming from?
The funds are coming from the state, and yeah, so they are going to be administered by a few lending organizations in the Asian American community. Renaissance is going to be the ones. I got to know about these funds through them.
Thank you.
Yes.
How can folks be in touch with you in your office?
I have some cards, but if you Google LaGuardia Community College Small Business Development Center, it will take you directly to our webpage. You can call us up, you can make an appointment, and we are very much open for business. The reason that the center is struggling is because the business owners prefer to go to paid consultants rather than using their tax money dollars to get served at no cost. That's it? Okay, thank you.
Can one of us throw that link in the chat? Michael or Randy, if you're online. Then Adriana. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Adriana Winalt. I'm here as a constituent and a MPH student. I'm here to advocate for Intro 1303 2025, which will require the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene to share clear, accessible information about fertility treatment and insurance coverage for all New Yorkers. This will promote equity. This bill wouldn't change any laws. It will just make information available for everyone about fertility programs. And that's it. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Giancarlo Pinto, are you online?
Yes, I'm online.
Okay, great. You have 2 minutes starting now.
Okay. Well, good evening, council members. My name is Giancarlo Pinto. I'm one of the owners of and operators of NYC Bud, a licensed dispensary at 4445 Vernon Boulevard, Long Island City. I also live in the Long Island City area, and I'm also an owner of Ferrari Driving School and active member of the community. I'm here to notify you that I was notified of an application of another dispensary through the OCM that is within 1,000 feet of me, and that I had 15 days to notify them of reasons that I don't believe that it should be there. And their proposed location is less than 650 feet from me, well inside the 1,000 feet set by the state law. The same address also holds liquor license, which your community board has approved, which makes it ineligible for their cannabis retail site. And within 3,000 feet, there's already 4 licensed dispensaries serving our community. Approving another would violate the rules and undermine existing compliant businesses. I respectfully urge you to notify the OCM. I believe they've also not come before the community board within the 270-day, which is the maximum that you need to notify the community board of your intentions to open another legal dispensary. And I thank you for your time, council members, and let me know if you have any questions.
There's one question.
It's actually not a question. So I'm here, Steve and I are the co-chairs of city services that approve these. And I remember when we approved your license for cannabis. Do you have well, actually one thing, do you want to come to our city service meeting, which is this coming Wednesday at 7 o'clock, 6:30?
I'd love to come. Yes.
Okay, it's at the community board office, which I don't know the address of, but
Okay, just find it. I'll notify the community board office. And what's the title of the meeting?
it's the City Services and Public Safety Committee meeting.
Beautiful. I'll find that. The address of this location and application is 1029 44th Road. I believe they're the operators as well of the I don't know if it's a membership club or a restaurant that's called Cakes. This one is called Partake LLC. And there's also Elevate LLC, 2 liquor licenses at the same location. I don't know if you guys know how they operate currently, their current location, but it's not necessarily within, I believe, the guidelines.
Okay, definitely come to the meeting on Wednesday night and we can talk about it more.
Thank you. I look forward to it, and thank you for your time. And thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Giancarlo. And that concludes public comment, just general public comment. Then we have a few speakers signed up for our next issue, which we'll get to after that presentation. So next up is the presentation of the ULURP, the DEP Newton Creek CSO tunnel. Right. Oh, and okay, please, yeah.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Ty Bradshaw. I'm here with DEP. I'm the Queens Community Coordinator for Community Boards 1 through 7. It's good to see you all. Thank you all for being here on this very chilly evening. And thank you for our community partners and stakeholders for being here, especially. Today, I am joined by my DEP colleagues. We have Kate Eden from the Bureau of Engineer Design and Construction. We have myself, I'm the Queens Community Coordinator. We have Terrell Estison from the Bureau of Environmental Planning and Analysis. And we also have David Lee from Environmental Planning and Analysis. And we also have Shelton Getter from the DCAS team. Just to give you a quick rundown of what we'll be presenting, we're going to provide background on the Newtown Creek CSO Storage Tunnel Project, an explanation of combined sewer overflow, CSO, the project scope, and a briefing on the ULURP. And then at the end, we'll answer any questions. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Kate.
Okay, I think Ty's going to bring up some slides. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, so you can go like 2 slides ahead. So, hi, my name is Kate. Ty introduced me. I'm the project manager for the Newtown Creek CSO Storage Tunnel. So this project is located along Newtown Creek. As you probably all know, Newtown Creek is the border between Brooklyn and Queens. CB2 is one of the 3 community boards impacted by this project. You can go to the next slide. So this project has 2 important regulatory drivers. So New York State is under consent order. DEP is under consent order with New York State DEC to reduce CSO or combined sewer overflows to our water bodies. And in order to do that, they developed long-term control plans or LTCPs for each water body. And those were to develop proposed solutions to reduce CSO within our water bodies. And the proposed solution for Newtown Creek was to construct a storage tunnel that would pick up flow from 4 major outfalls, which constitute 90% of the CSO that enters the creek, and store it until after a storm. Newtown Creek is also a Superfund site, and New York City was listed as one of the potentially responsible parties due to CSO that enters the creek. So this also satisfies that regulatory requirement. You can go to the next slide. So what do we mean when we say CSO or combined sewer overflow? So New York City has a majority combined sewer system. That means our stormwater and our wastewater go into the same sewer system. And when it rains a lot, that water can overflow into our receiving water bodies. You can go to the next slide. So in order to manage that for Newtown Creek, we're constructing a tunnel. And you can see the tunnel on this slide here. You can see the community board sort of highlighted in green, and the tunnel is a yellow line that follows roughly the creek. And the line culminates at the Newtown Creek Wastewater Resource Recovery Facility. So this tunnel is going to pick up flow from 4 outfalls. These outfalls are located at the end of each branch of the creek. And that flow will be sent to new shafts that will send the flow down into a tunnel. And then we're constructing a 3-mile long tunnel, and that tunnel will culminate at a new tunnel dewatering pump station. This is a facility that will be located adjacent to the existing plant. And that pump station will pump the flow out after a storm event to be treated at the plant. We're currently in design, and this project has a consent order completion deadline of the end of 2040. It's a pretty long project. You can go to the next slide. So this is a diagram that sort of shows the components of the system. I don't know how visible it is to everyone here, but basically at the end of each branch of the creek, there's an existing outfall. That outfall will be reconstructed to have a diversion chamber, and this diversion chamber will allow flow to then go to a conduit that sends it to a new shaft, and the flow will go down the shaft and into a tunnel. And the tunnel will flow, as I mentioned, to the pump station. The pump station is sort of shown here as an orange-yellow rectangle on the screen. And the pump station will then send the flow to the plant to be treated. So that's an overview of the design. I'm now going to pass it off to David to talk about the ULURP actions that are before you.
Good evening, David Lee, DEP's Bureau of Environmental Planning Analysis. Next slide. So I'm here to first talk about a slide talking about the DEP's proposed land use actions, given the, as you can see on the map on the right side, given the scale of the project area, we are proposing two separate land use actions, a combination of site selection. First one will be site selection and acquisition, which allow the city to acquire properties and site infrastructure on any non-city owned properties. And then site selection only, and this would concern properties already owned by the city of New York, which would allow for the siting of infrastructure. And this will be covered by two separate ULURP applications. Slide. So next slide talks about how the proposed land use actions will be implemented within Commune Board 2. So first one, looking at site selection and acquisition, we're looking at 49 properties located within the Commune Board. And a site selection and acquisition would involve site selection and acquisition of a new city facility, specifically a BB26 site on privately owned property, which would facilitate the construction of a tunnel and diversion facilities. And then this would also allow for this acquisition approval for subterranean easements, which will be below grade, and to protect the CSO tunnel from physical damage. Now, second land use action, site selection would affect 4 properties located in the Commune Board 2. So this would be site selection of a new city facility, NTQ 77, a diversion facility on a city-owned property, which would facilitate the construction of the CSO tunnel and diversion facilities. And I want to note, just zooming out here, looking at the total project area, we're looking at a total of 99 properties in total. But noting that they are all within designated industrial zoning, so there would be no displacement of any residential owners or properties. Next. As mentioned, so most of the acquisitions, land use actions would concern subterranean easements, and this is a slide that gives an explanation of this. So we're looking at a total of 44 subterranean easements within Commune Board 2. And the subterranean easement zone would begin approximately 25 to 75 feet below the existing ground surface. As you can see in the diagram to the left side here, the illustrative easement section. And the CSO tunnel itself would be approximately anywhere between 80 to 130 feet below ground surface. And exact depths would be confirmed prior to the design being finalized later on. As you can see here on the diagram, illustrative section, we are looking at 2 different easement zones. The first one would be what's called the exclusive subterranean easement zone, which would be directly around the tunnel itself to protect it from physical damage, and DEP would have sole access to this area. And then directly above it would be the non-exclusive subterranean easement zone. In this case, future development would be allowed along with access, DEP having access to this area, and future development would be allowed. However, it would be subject to approval by DEP. Next slide, please. Next, we're looking at surface acquisitions. So looking at NCQ 77 diversion facilities, so this would involve site selection and full property acquisitions. And the site selection only would involve a lot already owned by DEP. And then the site selection and acquisition would involve, as you can see in the map here, a privately owned parking area and material storage facility. Next slide. Upon completion of the proposed land use actions at NCQ 77 diversion facility site, the scope of work would involve the construction of the permanent NCQ 77 diversion facility, which include a drop shaft structure, outfall structure, and the construction of a permanent odor control system in a below grade vault. Next facility. Okay. As you can see here, due to construction activities, you can see in the map here, Railroad Place will be closed during construction, and alternative access to the site and the Amazon distribution facility to the north will be provided by a temporary roadway this would be opposite 57th Avenue, connecting to 49th Street here. So you can see the approximate layout here. Next slide, please. Next is next permanent facility that DEP is proposing to construct. And this would involve, in terms of land use actions, we are proposing to obtain permanent land use easements. So in this case, DEP would proposing to acquire permanent service easement and temporary construction easements at 3 properties within the Community Board 2. And this would involve one property, which is a privately owned concrete manufacturing facility, and then 2 properties, which are MTA LIR owned parking facility. Then once the land use actions are completed at BB26 site, the next slide, please. The proposed scope of work, as you can see in the conceptual site layout here, will be involving the construction of a permanent BB26 diversion facility with a diversion chamber and outfall structure, a temporary water treatment plant, and a permanent gravity diversion sewer connection to a subgrade drop shaft in a city right of way. Next slide. So next moving on to this environmental review being conducted by DEP, specifically looking at the slide, this focusing on the environmental impact statement being prepared by our agency. So the EIS is examining disclosing potential adverse significant environmental impacts from the construction and operation of the CSO tunnel and associated infrastructure, such as the diversion chambers and drop shafts. And the EIS looked at technical impact analysis categories, and this included the detailed consideration of impacts that could occur from construction of the proposed project, i.e. the construction of the new CSO tunnel, and of impacts once the construction is complete and the proposed project is operational. Next slide. So looking at the draft environmental impact statement, or DEIS, that was issued back in September by DEP. According to the DEIS findings, potential significant adverse impacts are anticipated for traffic and noise during construction activities, which would necessitate mitigation measures at one location within CB2. And then these are highlighted in blue in the slide. And DEP analyzed affected intersections to assess the effects of construction worker trips and truck activities, as well as temporary disruptions to surrounding roadways during peak periods. And 4 intersections were found to have unmitigatable impacts. However, no construction noise impacts are anticipated within Community Board 2. 3, I also want to note, 3 of the 4 intersections impacted by construction traffic are located within Community Board 2. So this would be in the vicinity of the BB26 diversion facility site, specifically in the intersection of Greenpoint Avenue, Van Dam Street, and Review Avenue. Next would be in the vicinity of the NCQ 77 Division Facility Site, and we're looking at 2 different intersections. One would be the intersection of Maspeth Avenue and Russ Street, and an intersection of 56th Road and 49th Street. And as mentioned earlier in the slide, during construction activities, Railroad Place will be closed off during construction, and alternative access will be provided. Okay. In terms of potential improvement measures such as signal timing adjustments, they have been recommended for city DOT's consideration to mitigate significant adverse traffic impacts identified at the intersections located within Community Board 2. And the operation of the proposed project would generate minimal travel activities and no disruptions to the surrounding transportation network. And as noted, no significant adverse impacts from construction noise aren't expected in Community Board 2. The areas where construction activities could result in significant adverse noise impacts during construction are located outside of Community Board 2, specifically at the Newtown Creek Nature Walk and future North Henry Street Restoration Open Space projects located in Brooklyn, Community Board 1. Next slide. Okay, this slide looking at an overview of the ULURP process. As mentioned, this project was certified into ULURP on September 15th, and is currently in the Community Board review phase. So we speak, and it just gives an overview of the key milestones that we have passed, specifically such as the DEIS being issued in back in September 15th of this year, and moving on to February of 2026. We anticipate that final FEIS will be completed and issued, and moving into spring of next year, we anticipate around April, the ULURP process to be completed. Next slide. Next is we're looking at this overview of the current schedule. As mentioned, we are currently in the community board review phase, which will last until November 24th, and this will be then go on to review by the Queens and Brooklyn Bureau President's Office. This will last from November to December of this year, and then this will then lead to the CPC's review, which will last between December to February of 2026. And then as mentioned, the final FEIS is anticipated to be issued roughly around February of next year. And then this would be we will look at the review by City Council between February, April 2026. And then as mentioned, DEP anticipates the ULURP process will be completed by around April of next year. Okay, next slide. All right, this is This is a kind of bird's eye view of the overall land acquisition project construction schedule. So as mentioned, you can look at ULURP extending into the second quarter of next year. And then this will then lead to the land acquisition process, which will last roughly around 2.5 years, extending into end of 2028. And then as you can see, this will then partially overlap with the construction schedule, which consists of 3 different construction packages. We're starting with the site prep contract here, starting here, and then extend. And the second one, CP2, which are focused on diversion facilities and CSO tunnel. And then finally, the last construction package, which we focus on the tunnel dewatering pump station. And as you can see, this will all extend into 2040, and which we anticipate that the project will be completed. Okay, next slide. All right, that concludes DEP's presentation on the Newtown Creek CSO Storage Tunnel project. Please come and let us know if you have any questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. One question that we didn't ask you at the land use meeting and just occurs to me, does this intersect the proposed route of the new light rail system that's being proposed to go from, Queens down into Brooklyn? Is there any intersection of these two projects?
I think so. I don't think so.
Is that covered in the, well, I would hope that if it
wouldn't
does, it's
impact
covered
it.
in the EIS as an impact.
That's right. Yeah. We wouldn't have an impact on it if there was a crossing because we are below ground.
But there would be competing easements. I just don't know. I'm asking.
Understood. No. Yeah. Sorry. IBX is further.
IBX is east of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Elena? And I'm sorry, questions are for board members only at the moment, but please, feel free to follow up them offline.
So we can hang out and answer people's questions afterwards if that's helpful.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Just to kind of understand the benefits to our district a little bit. Obviously, we have a lot of sewage flowing into Newtown Creek, and it would be great if we had less sewage. Does this mean that there would be no sewage flowing into Newtown Creek or significantly less? And then secondary question, are there any impacts on like sewer backups in the area? Would we expect to see less, or would there be no impact on sewer backups in people's homes?
That's a good question. All right. So for your first question, there'll be significantly less. So the best way for me to describe it is right now, these 4 outfalls, which again are 90% of the CSO that's entering the creek. Those are overflowing, depending on the outfall, between like 20 and 40 times a year. And it will now be about 7 times a year in an average year. And taking into consideration larger storms and climate change and things like that, it might go up to 8 times a year, something like that. The tunnel system itself will have a very minor benefit on the available volume inside of the existing sewer system. Our goal is to be neutral to that system, and I think we're providing a little bit more volume within the system. So no backups, to answer your question.
Warren, then Camille.
Hopefully the chair will allow me to cook this evening. This tunnel is going to be built in the neighborhood in which I live in, which is Blissville. I have a gripe with DEP as a whole. Earlier this year, they came into the neighborhood, did a lot of grandstanding, pointed to a lot of sewage holes, made a promise that they would come back through in April. Here we are in November. And that meeting was with Alfonso Lopez and a number of other people. I haven't heard or seen anything. Second thing is you may or may not be aware that New York State has designated my neighborhood, I want to make sure I got it right, as a disadvantaged community, which puts you in the crossfire to come and make an effort to do community outreach. If you came when you're supposed to, maybe that would have taken care of the issue. Two, there was no community outreach in regard to what you're intending to do. You tell us right now that there's not going to be any flooding issues, maybe for everyone else. You say right now that it will have, you're going to be neutral for my area, but my area means that we're going to benefit none, zero, for this tunneling through my neighborhood, which is going to lead from the pump down Review to Railroad. And here it is. I hear nothing about a benefit for Blissville, for Community Board 2. I hear it for other areas. I will say you did a plan in Greenpoint called Gateway to Greenpoint, right? You did a modification to that plan last year. Want to make sure right? To include a major underground stormwater retention component. You were able to make that modification, and I hope you make that modification with this plan where it includes a benefit to the neighborhood in which I live in, to Blissville, and not just shaking your head yes or no. We have a sewage problem with things backing up into our neighborhood. Everybody else is going to benefit. I am not. And I want to make sure that anything that's posed here today, I'm going to offer some amendments to whatever Community Board 2 has submitted or in agreement with. I also want to know if it's right that you're going to be doing this for possibly 3 years of construction. Is that correct?
The entirety of the project is like 11 years.
Okay, so 11 years that my neighborhood is going to be impacted. And Greenpoint and Railroad, right on the corner, is the Greenpoint Avenue Bridge. There's going to be a great impact to my community, not just with traffic, noise, pollution, and whatever else is dug up in that area, which is a Superfund site, remind you, into the neighborhood. So it's not going to just affect the residents, it's going to affect the workers there, and including the workers who are going to work on that tunnel. So you have to take that into consideration as well, and you're not doing that. Let me see. Had some other things I wanted to mention.
Can I respond to a few things so that we can recall?
I wanted you to let me cook.
Oh, sure.
I want to cook. I want to continue to cook. Also, the other part in reading this impact study, which is monstrosity, like 500 plus pages, you call, at least what I perceive, my neighborhood as being a insignificant population. Now, I want to know who makes this determination and how is this determined? And I want you to tell me in my face why we're insignificant and why Community Board 2 is insignificant. The floor is yours.
I'm going to respond to two things first that are not that last question. The first is that construction impacts will be at the shaft sites, so at the outfall sites. So the tunnel construction itself will have no surface impacts other than where we're taking the soil out of from underground. So these will be at the ends of each of the branches of the creek, where we're either purchasing property, we own property to construct these shaft sites. So it will be within a walled area of property. There's not going to be a lot of impact other than at those sites, 4 sites. I can't recall what the other thing was.
Yeah.
but-
Yes, and I would just like to add another thing. I know you have a lot of opinions about DEP, and I understand it. And there is definitely a lot to unpack from there. Me being the community coordinator for Queens Community Boards 1 through 7. After this meeting, I would definitely like to talk to you just to pick your brain a little bit more on some of the gripes you have and see if we can maybe do a site visit. I've been on a few site visits in Long Island City. I believe we've probably done more outreach here than most parts. So I would definitely love to hear more of what do you feel and how we can solve that.
Regarding the flooding issue that was brought up, this project is to relieve CSO to the creek. We did look at opportunities to relieve flooding. It's not a flooding solution. It's not something that we could solve with this tunnel, unfortunately. But it was something that was taken into consideration when we did the design of this project. Obviously, flooding is an issue citywide. I think that was it. You want to add to that?
Warren, I want to ask if you recalled where in the EIS insignificant was used, because I know the word appears, we talk about impacts being insignificant, but.
Well, not significant, but I'll
forward it to you.
Not significant, sorry.
Not
significant. So
I'm sure.
maybe my wording,
entire
maybe
name
my
would be
wording is not correct, but my perception of the wording led me to believe that a population like mine, which is in a M1 zone, is overlooked because of what it is. So if you had did the community outreach, maybe I wouldn't be saying these things that I did. We talking about not the first one, but the second one. And apparently it should have been a third one now. So I'll give you the information. I'll provide it for you.
Okay. We can leave our information and we can.
And I hope that one's easily rectified. Thank you, Warren. Camille?
Great, thank you. Two questions. The first is about the easements. Have you started conversations? Do those businesses have a chance to say no, or is this essentially going to be required? And the second is about the Superfund staff. Does this project affect that? Thank you.
So this, for the Superfund question, this is part of the response to Superfund, the city's response to Superfund cleanup. The city was responsible for the CSO portion of the Superfund, and that's this has been deemed acceptable as a response to that by the EPA. Regarding the easements, we have reached out to property owners as part of this ULURP process. We cannot begin having those negotiations in earnest until we receive approval to do so. So at this point, we're waiting on approval to actually negotiate an easement with an owner. Through the ULURP process from the city.
Hi, welcome. I'm the chair of the Transportation Committee. We haven't heard any of this stuff. Can you tell us again how the streets and intersections are affected? Because that was all very quick. And for how long?
We analyzed about 20 intersections. 4 we identified as having significant impacts. One is Greenpoint and Review. One is 59th, Maspeth and Rust. Yeah. And what was the third one? And 56th and 49th Street in Maspeth. Those were identified as having impacts that did not have feasible mitigation. Other intersections that we analyzed had either levels of delay that were not significant, or if they had impacts, there was available mitigation through signal timing or some type of modification to keep traffic moving.
And how long will this affect the intersections?
So like Kate said, the overall construction's 11 years. The phase that is going to construct the shafts, we think there'll be 3 to 4 years of work for those sites. And I can't remember those numbers. Rust, the 2 Maspeth intersections, 56 and 49th, and Rust and Maspeth. Those are associated with the construction of the shaft there that we call NCQ 77. The impacts for Greenpoint and Review is associated with construction worker traffic, so that may last even longer than 3 or 4 years.
So that Greenpoint and Review is a major intersection, and there's currently a major safety project happening there to make the streets safer. So what exactly is going to happen?
We're working with DOT already to minimize the disruption. We're developing maintenance and protection of traffic plans just to keep the impacts minimal. But like I said, it's a very busy and a very complicated intersection. We're making sure we can do what we can. But part of the reason we did an environmental impact study is a project of this size is going to have some impacts, and informing the public that the project is going to have impacts is part of this, but that doesn't alleviate the requirement that we look to make it as minimal as possible.
Okay, and thank you. And then I have one more question. The Dutch Kills tributary, it looks like you're building something on top of that. The bulkhead there, is that?
So that's at outfall BB 26.
Yeah.
So that's an existing outfall. We'll be reconstructing that outfall. It doesn't fall on the alignment of the tunnel. So we'll be constructing a sewer that connects that outfall to the tunnel to get that flow to the tunnel.
Okay, we have longstanding requests, and we've done a lot of work on trying to get that bulkhead rebuilt and perhaps turned into a park for the community. How does this affect the
We'll be
future there?
doing, some reconstruction of that bulkhead. That outfall will likely need to be reconstructed, and a portion of that bulkhead will likely need to be reconstructed. That outfall is on private property, so we have an existing easement there, and we'll be occupying that property to reconstruct that diversion chamber and then handing it back over to the owner.
Okay, and that's another 11-year project?
That's part of this project.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a portion of this project. Yeah, a few years at that outfall likely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Last question for Steve.
A couple of short questions. When did planning start on this project?
So it's a hard question. The long-term control plan was in development. I think it was completed in 2018. And then this project was moved into, that was sort of a very high level planning effort of like, what should the solution be? And the solution was to be a tunnel, and the alignment of that tunnel was TBD. But we knew we'd have to pick up from these 4 outfalls. And then a different bureau took over the development of that project, and we started planning in 2022, and we're now at about.
I was wondering, because the community board has been requesting to do something about the overflow sewers in the neighborhood, not just there, but in certain other areas, whereas the BQE flooded to 6 feet and where homes and people died. And that was quite a number of years ago. We put in that request. I was just wondering why this plan came first. My second question has to do with the removal of the soil from the tunnel. It was pointed out that this is I don't know if it's a brown zone or what, but obviously a very polluted area with things. My understanding is that whatever pollutants there are, especially the heavy metals and the gas and the oil and things, sink down through the surface and certainly would go down the 75 to 100 feet where you're going to be excavating. So I understand you're going to be pulling it out at these particular exit points. My question is, from there, where are these truckloads of polluted, highly contaminated soil being trucked?
Sure.
And the route, if you have it.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why we chose the site that we did, it's a Department of Sanitation site that's adjacent to the existing Newtown Creek plant, is because it has it was a marine transfer station. It's no longer in use, but it has the ability to barge the materials out. So that's something that we're looking at right now.
So the plan is to barge it out.
Plan is to barge it out if feasible. Yes, but that is the plan.
Thank you so much. Lots to talk about. That's for board members only, but they'll be around to ask questions directly. Okay. We vote on it today. Yeah. Actually, yes, you can if you want to. We're taking public comment now, actually. So starting with Tom Matuzis, please, then Tanya Oberoi, yep, and Henry Smith, and then if you want to come up here and sign the. Sorry?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Matuzis, representing the Blissville Civic Association. I've lived in Blissville my entire life with my great aunt, who was born in the house we live in. House was established in 1907 by our family. We are a New York State disadvantaged community, Census Tract 199, or as DEP has defined us in the DEIS, a community that is not significant. We have read through the DEIS and the project, and as far as we can gather, it's my gathering, that it was going to be 2.5 years, our community would be faced with significant adverse impacts due to noise, vibrations, traffic, resulting in additional pollution. Tonight, I'm hearing maybe 11 years. In addition, although we're the host site of this tunnel, and we will endure, using DEP's words, significant adverse impacts to Census Tract 199, there are no direct benefits to Blissville. DEP may have met the requirement under the New York State law for including us in the DEIS. Where they have failed is community outreach, which is also a requirement under the law. And the spirit of the law requires investments for the disadvantaged community. We see zero investments for the disadvantaged community. There's been no community outreach. As such, we call upon Community Board 2 to stand with us and demand outreach and investments. We ask that DEP follow up with us from their visit 10 months ago. They promised us a return visit in April. We've seen nothing. We want the sewers that is substandard on Greenpoint and 37. Please give me a minute.
Yep.
That are 6 inches in diameter, that are contributing to our sewer backflows be replaced. As suggested in our IBZ meeting sponsored by DCP, we demand that an amended drainage plan come to Blissville, specifically along the cemetery where we see Niagara Falls, every time it rains, the falls start flowing off of the cemetery wall. We demand a drainage plan. We expect an investment similar to the one just unveiled across the bridge in Greenpoint, entitled The Gateway to Greenpoint, that's going to capture 1 million gallons of water each year, reducing flooding and expanding green space. Both are needed in Blissville. And of course, we want more trees and rain gardens. These investments would help mitigate the failure of DEP for their outreach to our community. So in short, we ask Community Board 2 to stand with the not significant, to stand with my great aunt of 95 years old, who is not significant under DEP's plan, to stand with Warren Davis and his family, who are not significant, the 500 people living in our homeless shelter who are not significant. We expect more from city agencies and we demand more. Thank you for allowing me the extra time. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer any questions if anyone has any. No, thank you very much. Thank you. We're not happy to be here.
Henry and Maggie, if you want to come close. Yeah. Wait around here. 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Tanya. I am representing a local business or a few local businesses here on Review Avenue in Greenpoint. We want to start off just by saying that we support the Newtown Creek CSO project. I've spoken with Kate Edens several times We've had a lot of meetings. We've spoken to DCAS, Shelton. We have also reached out to Long Island City Partnership and Evergreen on the Brooklyn side. And we're doing a lot of research, and we have to do the research on our own because they have not done, in our opinion, the outreach that they should have done to inform the community timely and well in advance. And even as we have these meetings, we are not getting the information that we need to make an educated and informed decision on, our plan and our action on what we should do. Our concern is not the project itself, because it is something that we support. It's something that we need. Clean water, reduced sewage, and overflow is very essential, especially last week, with the weather that we had. It's only going to get worse with climate change. We are more concerned with the location. The current siting places permanent tank infrastructure on active private industrial properties that support jobs. It supports the communities, and we support a lot of local businesses, and we have been for over 30 years. We also are, hesitant and worried that the critical future development potential could be at risk for all the limited industrial use that we have. The industrial area in Long Island City, where we are, so I can speak on that behalf, is shrinking. I've been to the industrial meetings on both the Brooklyn and the Queens sides. We would like for the city to consider moving the project to more public right-of-way access. And the sewage system was originally designed to be in the public right-of-way. And it might not be more convenient, but here the focus should be on feasibility and not on what is the most convenient thing to do, because the plan of action should be done on the stages of research and development. So when they roll out the project, that it would be done correctly the first time. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Again, Henry from Long Island City Partnership. Thank you for the opportunity to make this comment on this. I'll keep it really brief. I appreciate the community board's questions and Tanya's statement as well. So I'm here speaking on behalf of the businesses and the property owners, and that we really do support the combined sewage overflow tunnel, and it's really needed for the cleanup of Newtown Creek. But again, the concerns about the adverse effects, the locations of it specifically, are serious, and we hope are kind of considered and talked about, and we're hoping for some wiggle room. Just a couple of questions to follow up. The Greenpoint and Review Avenue intersection is definitely really busy and getting busier. We would love to be a part of those conversations and along with the community board to, better understand and inform our businesses kind of and the stakeholders in general and what's going to be going on in that intersection for that really long extended period of time. I also wanted to ask, is DEP planning to create unique easement plans and drawings for each of the properties, or is it going to be like a template for all, just to have all the details within them, including the materials below? And then also an ask to try to reconsider the times of construction and pass through. Looking at the DEIS, it seemed like most of the peak hours of truck traffic and construction and workers passing by are 6 to 8 a.m., which is exactly when all the trucks and the loading docks and the workers are passing through the area. But yeah, and then continued clarification. Thanks for the clarification on the exact construction and travel lanes and parking spots that will be taken. But just want to continue the conversation. Appreciate it. So yeah.
So Henry,
Yeah.
So did you do a survey of businesses?
Yeah.
How many businesses?
How many businesses are affected by the
No,
easement?
how many businesses did you survey?
What do you mean, sir? Get in touch with?
Yeah.
That are directly. So, I would say about 25. Recently I've been very in touch with those folks. Yeah.
And their replies were mostly about the traffic and
the easement. So with that section, which DP, there's a few properties within CB2 that are private that have the easement go right under their buildings that are very, very concerned. But yeah, I'm here to speak and it's a serious concern and raise that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's helpful. Thank you.
Could we, I don't know if this is out of order or there's more people waiting to speak, but could DEP respond to the suggestion that more of the, or did you study putting the tunnel directly under public right-of-ways in wherever possible?
Yeah, I can just say that the proposed alignment is trying to use the minimum amount of private property and using the maximum amount of public right-of-way. We're not looking to request more easements. I mean, this is difficult for the city to go out and try to seek easements. We would much prefer to keep everything within the right-of-way. But a tunnel only has a curvature of a certain radius and you can't make sharp turns like a road. So you're going to have to go under some private property, unfortunately.
So you're going to be digging under the property of these private industrial landowners, correct?
Right, yeah.
And so, I mean, that's very confusing to me. So you're just going to be digging a tunnel under their private property, but all the liability obviously is on the city. So how do you protect the business owner?
Right. I mean, the city has constructed a lot of tunnels in its history. The Second Avenue subway is, only recently completed. There is the technology to construct a tunnel where we're not concerned about any surface impacts, vibration, settlement, things like that. That's something that we have to be taking into consideration. We're going under the Kosciuszko Bridge, we're going under important infrastructure that we can't impact under railroad tracks, things like that.
And to make an analogy, is the location of the tunnel and the size similar to the third water tunnel that's been under construction?
It's not as deep. The water tunnel is very deep. It's like 500 feet deep.
Because I know that comes right under private property.
It does, yeah. It goes under a lot of private property.
And Sunnyside and Woodside.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maggie, and if there's anyone else.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maggie McDonald. I'm a partner at Sive Paget and Rizal, which is a boutique environmental law firm here in the city. We represent multiple property owners who have received letters indicating their properties may be in the path of the tunnel and requesting they grant easements or that their property would need to be acquired to facilitate the project. I'm going to go as quickly as I can. First, the only drawings we've seen so far have been basically cartoons showing a wide swath of potential area of impact before we can have serious conversations about transferring property rights. We need to know the precise location of the tunnel, including three-dimensional cross-sections showing where it will be under each impacted property. We've requested this information and have not received it. Public notice of these community board meetings has been deficient. Our clients have received notice after meetings in other community boards, and addresses are incorrect on those notices. Plans that show the tunnel crossing the path of contaminated properties have apparently not been coordinated with the State Department of Environmental Conservation. That coordination is essential. DEC staff has indicated to us that they are unaware of the project and its potential impact on brownfield cleanup program sites. Many sites have complex environmental easements that need to be considered in connection with this project. Our clients have buildings with deep piles and lots that would require deep piles to reach their maximum development potential. Existing buildings must not be destabilized at the risk of jobs. And to the extent easements limit future development potential, that must be taken into account and compensated. This highlights the need for detailed three-dimensional engineering plans for each impacted lot. We'd like to understand the methodology that was used to determine the cost of acquisition of property rights and whether the project is currently fully funded. The path of the tunnel changed from February to now. We'd like to understand the genesis of those changes. Were there meetings with property owners that were impacted by the prior trajectory of the tunnel? Thank you. And are further changes anticipated, and how can we meet to discuss our concerns with the current location of the tunnel? And the public should be able to provide written comments to the community board as well prior to making a recommendation on this matter. And we should be able to comment on the actual path of the tunnel once it is finalized, because I think I heard earlier that it's not going to be finalized for some time after the ULURP is completed. Thank you. Thanks for the time. Yes. Sorry, I was talking fast.
No, that's good. Do you have written testimony? Is there something you could share with the office?
I can email what I just said.
Yeah, that would
because
be
I read
great.
it. So I can email
Your
that.
comments were great. Thank you.
Thank you. I will. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is George. I represent one of the properties that's in the affected zone. I just want to understand, because there is a lot of properties right now that are in this affected zone and a lot that have potential for the subterranean easement, which is going to cripple a lot of the future development in this whole area, because as we can understand, all these properties are lined up along the flood zone. And all these properties for future development are going to require piles. Subterranean easements will cripple us being able to do any kind of future development in these areas. So it's going to kind of keep the area how it is, and it won't be able to, we won't be able to do what we have to do to support our, local businesses. We also have tenants right now at our properties that are very concerned about what's going to happen. And we just want to understand, because right now that red zone that we see is really wide, and we're trying to understand what kind of easements are trying to, take place, and how much of the properties will be affected, because, this kind of caught us as a surprise as well. And, we want to understand what's going on. Thank you.
Right, that concludes Q&A, public comment on this topic, and we'll vote on this later on in our program. So there's no one signed up for our next item. No public comments signed up for our budget capital expense items. So I think we can move right along to attendance. Thank you. You don't have to stay up here anymore. I think or if you want to, nail back there.
All right, time for attendance. Amparo Abelbay. All right, Nelly Afshar.
Here.
Online. All right, thank
Present
you.
online.
Anatol Ashraf. John Bahia. Carisha Batan, excused. Nick Berkowitz, excused. Danielle Brecker. Carlos Castel-Croak, absent. Evelyn Chango.
President online.
All right, thank you. Lisa Charles. Tanya Chavez. Osman Chowdhury. Steve Cooper. Warren Davis. Lisa Deller. Maury Gallinoy. Yeah, excused. Dr. Raz Janutsas. Okay. Alexandra Gonzalez.
Present online.
All right, thank you. Camille Gray. Kenny Greenberg.
Here online.
All right, thanks. Corey Hannigan. Absent. Mohammed Hossein. Christine Hunter. James Kim. Absent. Prameet Kumar. Chimang Lama. Bradford Laban. Absent. Sheila Lewandowski. Absent. Benjamin Lucas. Excused. Okay, thanks. Patrick Martinez. Eric Narberg. Andy Olivares. Absent. Riley Owens. Jolly Patel. Randy Plumell.
Present online.
All right, thanks. Pia Raman. Maya Saab. Excused. Norberto Saldana. Excused. Alyssa Sawicki.
Present online.
All right, thanks. Fidelton Sherpa. Absent. Ryan Smith, I'm here. Lauren Springer. Akello Thomas. Absent. Maurice Valdez. Elena Van Sluten. Elena Van Sluten. Gotcha, thank you. Leticia Vasquez. All right, and Michael Zurab. All right, perfect. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, everyone. Next is approval of October 2025 minutes. Did everybody receive them this morning? Got a glance? Cool. This, all right, all in favor? Show of hands to approve. Any abstentions? What? Oh, two abstentions. Okay. Any opposed? All right. Cool. We will move right along to my report. I won't take up too much time because there's more talking I have to do later. But again, congratulations to all winners in the New York City elections this week. Looking forward to working with all of you. The housing ballot proposals have passed. So in my opinion, they just make community boards even more important as a resource and advisory voice for the majority of the community. But that means we have to remove barriers to engagement with CB2. We have to meet people where they're at. We can't be exclusionary, and we have to use the resources CB2 has to meet the community. So people can't turn to resources they don't know exist. So we have to do a better job of saying we exist. And speaking of engagement, I'd like to announce that Amaurice Valdez will take my old role from Tech Committee from 2020 and back in the day and use that subcommittee of the Engagement Committee to use technology to remove barriers to entry within and outside the board. So yeah, absolutely. Let's bring it back. Amaurice, please say a few words during the Engagement Committee report part. Awesome. And then One LIC passed the City Council's Land Use Committee unanimously. Thank you, Councilmember One, for the partnership and really listening. And Permeet will explain more, dive more into the details in a bit during the land use section. But it was good to see that some of the work we did made it in there, and more to do. And I'll be involved with the Community Oversight Committee, which I found out from Councilmember One's interview on New York One. So when I know more, you'll know more. And then the Bylaws Committee is being formed. If you didn't get to read my email, the goals will be to review and clarify our existing bylaws and processes, consider new items and updates to ensure we're complied with the charter and the needs of our board and district with changing times and changing needs, empowering the board to take full responsibility and operate clearly in any scenario, reaffirming the board's role under the SART charter. And as for the volunteers, I'm looking to about 8 to 12 members, still have room. More the merrier, and everyone's always, welcome to attend the meetings like we did with the One LIC working group. Hoping to finalize appointments by next month. Hoping to get a balance of experience and fresh perspectives and neighborhood representation. Trying to reinforce those values of accessibility, accountability, engagement, inclusion, and visibility. And hoping to have a monthly meeting and wrap up by March 2026. I have to mention the office suffered very bad flooding last week. So Debbie, please talk more about that. But glad to see everybody safe, and that Debbie, Mary, and Raphael got us back in action with the missing roof. Okay, and then I'll turn my time over to Michael for the review and vote of the capital and expense items.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
I'm going to share my screen, which hopefully will be a little bit visible to folks, certainly to folks online, hopefully, probably not to folks in the room. All right, so what are we doing tonight? We're going to talk through the work that the board has done over the last several months to prepare our statement of needs, which is a formal, as a reminder, is a formal part of the city's budget process. So we submit both a narrative statement of needs as well as a list of capital and expense budget requests that go to city agencies and are sort of considered as part of the budget process. We see this used, for example, when agencies come to committees or come to the board. The Parks Department cited our narrative statement from previous years in a meeting a couple of months ago when they were presenting on their Walk to the Park initiative. So, obviously, it's not like they do everything we say, but they do sort of read it and consider it and reference it in their engagements with us. So that's...
Sorry.
Oh, I got to hit the allow button.
There you go.
All right. Okay, so just as a sort of rehearsal of the work that we've done together over the last several months, starting over the summer in June, we sent out a survey to through various groups, got more than 300 responses, which is almost 10 times what we had gotten in previous years. We wrote up, there's a summary report that we reviewed where we sort of identified our top needs based on the survey. So our top 3 pressing issues, as well as top needs in different policy areas, like the 7 policy areas that are in our narrative statement. We determined those areas through the survey. We also got a lot of good open-ended feedback from members of our community that we cited throughout, both in the requests and the narrative. We worked together to rewrite our statement of needs, which is really long and was sent out to folks several days ago to review. But we have the statement of needs kind of refreshed with the new input that we got and updated. So a lot of sort of older references that are probably less up to date are gone, and I think we have a nice kind of refreshed statement. And then we, the committees solicited feedback from their members and submitted requests that I sort of collated, and we worked together on prioritizing. And so we have a list of capital expense and continued support requests, which you've also seen. And I guess the one thing to call out, which came up, I believe, last month, is a change this year relative to previous years, is there's no longer a single prioritized list, like 1 to 50 for our requests. Instead, the process from DCP is that we submit prioritized lists within each agency. So, we have a single request to the departments for the aging in our capital budget. So it's assigned priority 1. And then agencies where we submitted multiple requests, those requests are prioritized, but we did that together. And we have that list. And now it is time for us to celebrate the work we've done by voting to approve the narrative and list and get it sort of submitted to the city. So that is the update. If there are any questions, I hope you all had the opportunity to review the materials. If there are any live questions, of course, be happy to chat, and then we can proceed to the vote.
Motion to the capital expense items. Second. Discussion? Oh, I did. Discussion? Discussion? All right. Any discussions? All right, call the question. All in favor of calling the question? All right, could be a show of hands. All right. 4, yes. Any abstentions? Any oppositions? All right.
Okay.
Congratulations. Well done.
Thanks to everyone. Congrats to everybody. We got through it.
Yeah. And all those values of going out to the community. We got, I think, as many people, I think we got as many responses to this. There we go. I think we got as many almost as many comments as one LIC, or just thereabouts. Like, so, really well done with the outreach. Okay, next is. Next, we are accepting nominations for the executive committee for one more year. We're starting with working back from parliamentarian to chair. So, Mr. Martinez. Yeah, if you want to say a quick spiel.
Good evening. Most of you know me. I'm Patrick Martinez, hailing from Woodside Way out on the eastern hinterlands of the district. I've been a member of the district or adjacent to the district for effectively my whole life. Many of you have heard my story. I'm invested in this district, in this area, and not only looking to stay long term, but looking to be very publicly involved as you all are as well. And as parliamentarian, the past year, I understand I have not been perfect, but I've strived every month, every meeting, every committee, every subcommittee to help guide meetings to be run in an orderly fashion, to make sense of the extensive amount of Robert's rules, and to provide guidance to the chair in some of the more turbulent and less turbulent times. And I hope that effort has been made apparent. And hopefully with another year, I strive to further refine these efforts to make sure we run even more smoothly and to provide clarity and address any questions folks might have as we navigate these meetings. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to nominate themselves for parliamentarian? You have to get. He's got one Robert's rule. He's got one copy of Robert's rules. You need two if you're going to challenge him. All right. So the parliamentarian is closed there. Treasurer. I mean, he just showed his audition for for treasurer, but no, we got to do it.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, I'm really enjoyed the opportunity to serve as the treasurer the last several months and would be honored to continue to have that opportunity. I think we built a good foundation this year, kind of refreshing the budget process, and I think we can strengthen it further when we repeat the process. I think starting a little earlier with some of the outreach and trying to do more paper flyering, especially in places that we think are underrepresented. I also think an area I'd like to kind of think more about and invest in and engage with you all on is the operational budget of the board, particularly with respect to expenses around Zoom. We've spent way too much oxygen on Zoom problems, and I think we need to engage seriously in thinking about how we can fix them. And it really seems like one opportunity is to get a more professional Zoom membership, which is going to cost money. And so I think I'd love to work closely with the office and with you all to both kind of get to an answer on how much this is going to cost and what the trade-offs would be, and kind of think seriously about that, because we've had too many meetings disrupted by Zoom bombs, and we can prevent this if we invest appropriately. So I think that's another area where I'd love to really lean in and work with you all. That's it for me. Thank you.
Would anyone like to nominate themselves for treasurer? All right. So we'll end it there. Ryan, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anatol. So I'll nominate myself to run for secretary again. I'll try to keep it short and concise, as is the nature of, I think, trying to keep everything short and concise up here. And of course, documenting it and doing everything that the office does and that I do try to support. It's honestly a real honor to be able to support the work the whole board does in this way. And so I hope to be able to do it again for another year.
Anyone for secretary? No? All right. So we'll end it there. For second vice chair, Nelly Afshar.
Anatole, thank you. Sorry I can't be there with all of you in person tonight. I'll also keep this brief. Nellie Afshar. Hopefully all of you know me, and I look forward to actually getting more time with all of you. Over the past year, it's really been such a privilege, and I've enjoyed serving in the role of second vice chair. And today I'm really proud to run for this position again. During this time, I've brought a fresh perspective. I've made myself available to support the operations of the board, and really always proud to remain focused on outcomes that uplift our entire community. Since joining the board a few years ago, I've really valued from learning from those of you with deep experience on the board, while also bringing my own lens as a woman, as a parent of young children in this community, as a professional. And I look forward to building on that in the year ahead. It's also a new day for our city. So I'm really energized by the opportunity to continue this work with renewed purpose and partnership. Lastly, and it's the last thing I'll say, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that I'm a longtime resident of Long Island City. So I'm really committed to remaining actively engaged as our neighborhood evolves through the next chapter of One LIC. So now's not the time to take our foot off the gas. It's time to lean in and really shape what the next chapter holds. So thank you. And I look forward to continue serving alongside my colleagues on the executive committee.
Thank you, Nellie. Anyone for second vice chair? All right, we'll end it there. First vice chair.
I guess it can't fall any lower. Anyway, I'm throwing my hat into the ring one more time to serve as first vice chair, because in part, it's really important for the board to have some continuity. I'm super proud of CB2 Queens and grateful to be part of this leadership team. That said, I'm mindful that the term limits law that many of us supported will take effect in another year. Accordingly, one point I would like to make is that we've really worked hard to bring into leadership we'll call it the younger generation, people with more years in their future tenure. Just look at our team here and all the people that are serving as chairs and vice chairs, new people. I think this is exciting, and we have defined a path forward. And with that, I'm going to yield the rest of my time to my boss over here, Chair Ashraf, who will elaborate on our accomplishments and plans going forward. Thank you very much.
Back up. Anyone else for first vice chair? Sure. Mike.
I wasn't thinking about the term limit issue. Are you term limited? You are. You both are. So your tenure, who else is term limited on? No, you're not. So your tenure won't be concurrent. So your term will end in April.
March 2027.
Oh, you have another year after that.
Yeah, 2027 is the first.
Right.
cutoff.
So
Yeah.
that's when you're cut. So it's not this year. It's not 2026, it's 2027.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think there wasn't anybody for first vice, so I think we'll close it off there. Anyone for chair? All right. All right, I'm sorry. I have a little bit of a speech, so it's the last time I can do this. So yes, 2 minutes. All right. I did practice. Mark, for real life, timer, please. But yes, I am asking for one last year as chair, not for a title, but to finish the work we started, and to lock in the reforms that we all set up for this board, that will set up this board for years to come. So like I said, I'm termed out in March 2027, and I'd appreciate the chance to finish this work with this current executive committee, because we've helped drive progress and build these systems now that's taking root. Over the past 2 years, we've shown that this board can be effective, modern, and respected. We baked in public benefits through One LIC, school seats, open space, deeper affordability. And now that it's passed, our work isn't over. I'll serve on the Community Oversight Committee to make sure that developers and the city deliver on every possible promise. I also led the widely publicized joint One LIC hearing this summer, which thankfully went efficiently, civilly, and constructively, which is a proof of our board's credibility. We've modernized how CB2 operates, live streaming meetings, empowering committees, demanding professionalism. When systems got in the way, we confronted it. We will continue to elevate the office professionally, transparently, and effectively. With the new mayor coming up, our city is turning towards the same values we've lived here in CB2. That's what the numbers show. Accountability, equity, and care for working people. And with the ballot proposals that passed, community boards will play an even greater role in shaping how the city delivers equity and participation. These align with what we've been doing, and CB2 can lead in turning those principles into action. We can be a real example for the rest of the city. No shade to our dear friends from Queens CB5. We'll work together on this. So in the next year, we will begin digitizing our records. A lot of paper in the office. I'm going back to 1993. We'll steer a full bylaws revision to strengthen clarity and accountability, and we will build a public One LIC tracker as best as we can, so residents can see in real time whether promises are kept. I do this while working full-time as a renter, as a husband, and the parent of a 6-year-old. I don't do this because it's easy. I do it because the community deserves a board that works. So let's finish that work that we started together. Thank you. Right. Now, does anyone? Okay, so I think we'll end it there. All right. Well, sorry, what's up? Yeah. Are there any other nominations for? Okay, no, all right, cool. So we'll end it there. Sorry, yeah, and we'll vote next month. So thank you so much. All right, on to district manager's report.
Good evening. Thank you, everybody. Hard act to follow. So congratulations to all the nominees. Look forward to working with all of you again. And I want to thank Michael Zorb for putting that budget committee together and the hard work you did. That's really commendable. I look forward to working with you over the next week. We have to get that data into city planning. So if I have any questions, I'll be calling you. And it's a new system because they revamped it too. So it's going to take us a little bit. And we did get an extension, so we have time to get it in, which is great. So thank you. With that, the Department of Sanitation, remember, no trash, no curbside, compost, or recycling. Tuesday, November 11th, it's Veterans Day. The office is closed as well. It's a city holiday. We had 16 original complaints for the month of October. The top complaints were PD, illegally parked cars. Those are continuing to come in, and we are continuing to address it with the police department. DOT potholes, pedestrian walkways, places that are not striped. They were milled, paved, and have no stripes. So we really need to get that done. It's not safe. It's not safe for anyone, not the bicycles, not the pedestrians, not the cars. And it's a blight in the community. So we're trying to get DOT to step up to do that while the weather is still above freezing. And the third highest complaint was trash not being picked up in DOS. So again, thank you all. Thanksgiving is November 27th, and the next board meeting is December 4th.
Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, we got time for committee reports. So yeah, let's try to keep it to 3-ish minutes. Oh yeah, no. Okay, sorry. Yep, please. Yep.
Hello, you here.
Hi, everyone. So at our October meeting on October 15th, the Land Use Committee heard basically the same presentation that you heard tonight about the new sewer overflow tunnel, which is, you know, obviously a project that has to happen both legally and as part of, you know, improving the city's infrastructure and water quality. So the committee voted not to oppose. However, I think tonight there have been a number of very valid comments and issues raised. And so we have to think carefully about how to incorporate those into our ULURP, you know, our response to the ULURP, and we don't have much time. It's basically tonight. I think this is a real illustration, though, of how a failure to, I mean, the community engagement process did not happen prior to the commencement of the ULURP process, from what, you know, everything that I'm hearing. And I think that's a real lack in the system or in how things took place. From what I'm hearing, there are really two different issues. One is the issues raised for the Blissville community in terms of community benefits. And I think we have a very coherent set of requests, which we can consider, especially items 2, 3, and 4 in Tom's list for specific improvements in the community as far as sewage infrastructure and the drainage plan. And the other, which maybe needs more discussion, is the issues raised as far as, you know, information to the property owners. DEP did emphasize to us how early in the process they are in terms of actual process, finalizing both the actual alignment of the plan and any agreements with landowners. So I welcome discussion as to how we should address that. Yeah.
I have the mic, Steve. So, no, so the point about insufficient mapping for the business owners who want to know where the easements are going to be, what they're going to be comprised of. I mean, we saw this in the one LIC, this ongoing request for, you know, clear and concise maps of what they're proposing. And that would be, I mean, that would be something, an amendment I would propose that we request that.
Yeah, and not just maps, but actual section diagrams. I mean, maps and section. Okay. Well, I mean, we can request it as part of our, you know,
There is not a motion on the floor, but I'm curious. The Land Use Committee voted not to oppose it as compared to supporting it, which is what we normally do if we're in support of something. We support it with conditions. Here you say not to oppose. You didn't say you opposed it. You didn't say you were for it. You voted not to oppose. That's not a very strong recommendation to the board. I know.
Well, you know, I'm reading our minutes. Permit me, it was your motion. So if you feel that that's not accurate.
Wait for the mic. Oh, yeah, you want to come up? Come join me.
Hey, I think we supported this one. We sometimes say not oppose for things that aren't official ULURP votes when we just want to say it's okay for that to go through the process and we don't want to be a roadblock. Because this was a ULURP vote, I think we have to say either accept or reject. And I think we said accept for this one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So was it the land use petition to accept and without conditions?
We did not discuss conditions at that time. I think we didn't have the input that we've had tonight, and which I think was very valuable. So
okay,
I welcome that input.
See, I have a problem here. I mean, I would love to just table it, but I know that makes no sense. That's giving up our chance to have input. So we have to have input tonight. The question I think it's going to be very important is how we frame it. Whether we frame it to support it with these conditions or oppose it due to the lack of their respect for the law, their respect for their own promises, their respect for the community, and because of the 5 reasons that Blissfield had put in, plus perhaps some others. And I think that really is the question. We all know it's going to go forward whether we reject it or not. So the point is, how do we take a meaningful stance? Is it to approve it with these conditions and then just, by the way, and slap them on the hand? Or is it standing up and saying, no, you can't do this to us. You failed to give community outreach. You failed to show us where it's going to go. You don't have a real plan for us to look at. That to me is the real question.
Well, I think it was somewhat of similar issues with one LIC and.
Not as bad. Not as bad.
Well, I might take issue with that, but in any case.
That's true. You did have a couple of things at the last minute, I remember.
It's a similar issue. How strong do we think how much do we think our stipulations count for? And which way do we think they have more impact? I can't answer that question. But in this case, I think this is a project that is perhaps more necessary to the city than one LIC was. I would say that.
I just want to make sure I understand. So I think it's going to go forward regardless of where we go. So I would prefer that there be a support with the amendments in place, as opposed to standing 10 toes down and saying no, and they're still going to do it. So I'm in support, me personally, but with the amendments, we just have to define. Yeah, I'll make the motion to support the plan with amendments from the Blissfield Civic. Do I have to spell them out?
Okay.
I don't think we have to read off.
Yeah, did everybody get this?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think.
Yeah, it was the same conditions that the consultant, the lawyer, made regarding Superfund, how are we going to get the soil out from under the tunnel, how it's going to be shipped, the property owners, their concerns, to your point, the information, making sure that it's shared and precise, and that we've given enough time to when they're going to start this, and as much detail as they can. It's just that they kind of failed at community outreach, not just to Blissfield residents, but also the commercial properties and all of us. So I don't know, maybe I'm not wording it properly. Yeah.
Discussion now.
If you're incorporating your Blissfield, make the first item basically to insist on community engagement and outreach. We don't need to rehearse the history and the failings.
Yeah, so you're saying rephrase item 1? Yeah. Okay.
Lisa, you had an amendment also.
I would also, the Greenpoint and Review intersection and the traffic there and the timing of the truck traffic generated by this project to be, to look at having it not be concurrent with rush hour.
Maybe a parking sign or, a street signage.
Or to, the people who are doing construction, maybe they go earlier. They show up at 5:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? So they're not going through Greenpoint and Review at 8:30.
I accept the amendment.
So my friendly amendment is to make sure that, to confirm, I'm not trying to think of the right language, but I want to make sure that the Dutch Kills bulkhead gets repaired, that it's not maybe partially, that it is part of this plan.
Well, is it part of this plan?
Well,
They would have to do as a matter of fact.
but I would like that language to be more firm.
Terrell, can you confirm if that's part of the plan?
DEP? This is a question for you.
Yeah.
we're asking about the reconstruction of the bulkhead.
Where the outfall work is at the head of Dutch Kills, we will be leaving the bulkhead fixed there, but that's just one part of Dutch Kills. We're only going to be getting property easements for where we have an outfall presently. So again, like it won't go all the way around, sort of the hammerhead shape of Dutch Kills. It's just the area where we're working in, we will be fixing the bulkhead.
So do we want to ask for more for a study or all the way around Dutch Kills? What? I'm sorry. Replace what? The entire.
Speak for itself.
Yes, that what Christine said.
I accept that amendment. It says redo the whole thing, not in parts, but the whole. Thank you.
So repair and replacement of bulkheads surrounding Dutch Kills. Dutch Kills. With
Any other amendments? Any other amendments?
So I have I have, yeah, just to restate what I've heard so far. In addition to, we would, regarding the ones requested by the Blissville Civic Association, we will rephrase item 1 to ask for continued engagement with the Blissville community going forward, rather than sort of rehashing history. Is that sufficient? Okay.
And then CB5 was here too, and they'll also have to vote.
Okay. So then 2, 3, and 4, we would leave as is, and 5, although that's a different city department, but that's fine. And then in addition, we're asking for clear and provision of clear and concise maps and cross sections prior to finalization of any negotiations with property owners. Is that adequate? The other next is that the work at the intersection of Greenpoint and Review Avenues be scheduled for alternate work hours to reduce the impact on general traffic. And finally, confirm the repair and replacement of the entire bulkhead surrounding Dutch Kills. Sorry?
Replace it, but if you don't want it, I mean, while they're repairing it and modifying it the way they need to for this purpose.
Well, they're only proposing to impact a very small portion of the area, right?
But we want them to, as area in the first place, make it, look at it more complete in terms of this.
Yes.
I mean, I want the whole repaired or replaced. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know if it's repair or replace, but I want the whole of it fixed.
Entire.
And I realize it may be unrealistic, but I mean, if we're going to put conditions on.
And replacement of entire bulkhead surrounding Dutch Kills.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Can we add one more item? And that's a flood study within the Blissville and possibly Maspeth neighborhoods of where they're going to study. Oh, I appreciate it. All right.
Within Blissville and Maspeth neighborhood.
Yeah,
Somebody needs to call the question.
Go ahead. Yeah. You want to call a question? Yes. All in favor of the question? Roll call.
Yes.
So the vote is, let me just restate the vote as I've heard
Yes,
it
please.
from Warren. The vote is to approve the project with the following stipulations that we just went through. Okay,
We don't need to read anything back out.
I think I just read them, but I can do it
Yeah,
again.
no, I think you did. Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
making sure. Okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Christine. All right, Amparo Abalbay. Nelly Afshar.
Yes.
Anatol Ashraf.
Yes, but also can you remind CB2 members online that to turn their camera on when they vote?
Yes, thank you. CB2 members online, if you did not just hear Anatol from the other mic, turn your camera on when you vote, please. And I have my back to the screen, so if someone else can just monitor that, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay, John Bahia. Carisha Batan, absent. Nick Berkowitz, absent. Danielle Brecker. Carlos Kestel-Crook, absent. Evelyn Chango.
Yes.
Evelyn Chango.
Turn the camera on.
Turn the camera on, please.
If you can.
And then restate, if you can turn your camera on, then just restate that you said yes. We'll return to her, okay. Lisa Charles.
No.
Perfect. Tanya Chavez. Osman Chowdhury. Steve Cooper. Warren Davis. Lisa Deller. Maury Gallinoy. Not here, yep. Dr. Raz Giannutzas. Alexandra Gonzalez.
Yes.
Okay. Camille Gray. Kenny Greenberg.
Yes.
Corey Hannigan's absent. Mohammed Hossein. Christine Hunter.
Yes.
James Kim, absent. Prameet Kumar. Chimang Lama. Bradford Laban, absent. Sheila Lewandowski, absent. Benjamin Lucas. Excused. All right. Patrick Martinez. Eric Narberg. Andy Olivares is absent. Riley Owens. Jolly Patel. Randy Plemo. Online or absent?
I think he had problems.
Okay. Pia Raman. Maya Saab is absent. Roberto Saldana absent. Alyssa Sawicki.
Yes. Oh, wait. Yes.
All right, great, thank you. For Jules and Sherpa, absent. Ryan Smith, that's me, I vote yes. Lauren Springer. Akela Thomas. Amaris Valdez. Elena Van Sluten. Letitia Vasquez. Who's absent? Was she excused? Okay. Michael Zurab. All right, great. And Evelyn Chango, can you, with your camera on, just state your vote?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you so much. All right.
All right. As far as land use goes, the only other item, are we done? Sorry, yeah. Yeah, right. So the only other major item at land use was a presentation about the a proposed solar canopy at the Court Square parking garage, which would be across the whole top level, open parking level. And the work would also include a number of EV charging stations. This is a city-owned facility. It itself is not a landmarked building, but because it's adjacent to the Court Square Courthouse, we were asked to review it, although they don't, Landmarks doesn't always send to us things to review that are adjacent to a landmark property. However, we were asked in this case, and we felt that the design that they were proposing was appropriate and that they had taken, measures to make it attractive and not not obstruct or hinder the view of the Court Square courthouse. So it doesn't require any board action at this point, but I just want people to be aware. Yeah, Camille.
Mike? Can you repeat the question?
Will there be
Whether the
an effect
canopy will,
on the number of spaces?
you know, I think only to the extent that an EV charging station takes away a permanent parking, a regular parking space, but it's, I think that the supports for the canopy are, within the grid so that they don't affect the parking.
Thank you.
That's it.
Asked for me to like dive into the one I like seeing at the past to highlight where there's alignment and where there wasn't. Yeah, please.
But it hasn't finally passed. Right?
Well, what we know so far.
Okay.
And before we do this one LIC bit, just DEP, I forgot to add this as an amendment, but it's okay. But just my request, please strike any language that's even remotely makes the Blissfield community seem not significant. You gotta fix that. Thank you. Okay, all right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Cool. Everyone, so as you probably know, last week, one LIC was adopted by the New York City Council zoning and land use committees. Recently it's been led and negotiated by our council member, Julie Wan, and she secured about $1.97 billion in total capital and programmatic commitments for this project. So I want to talk a little bit about what was announced, where it aligns with our CB2 recommendations, and where work still remains. And we talked a little bit about this earlier, but I'll expand on it. So some of the wins that we also advocated for, the deep affordability. So we're going to get MIH options 1 and 3 mapped across the private sites. So that's about 40 to 60% of AMI. We called for exactly that, and it was directly adopted. So that was really nice to see. The city council member's office said that nearly 1,000 units of affordable housing is going to be built on public land. We had called for city-owned sites to be earmarked for 100% affordable housing. So something that we need to tie up on is that 1,000 units, does that equate to 100% affordable, or is there going to be some market rate on that public land? So that's a question that I have that we'll get an answer on. There's a lot of public housing investment, $206 million for plumbing, vacant unit restoration, and community center upgrades at Queensbridge houses, which is really nice. We had asked for equity investments, so that was good to see. On open space and parks, there's going to be a restoration of Queensbridge Baby Park and the creation of about 5 acres of new open space beneath the Queensboro Bridge. They're calling it the largest rezoning-related park expansion in about a decade. That's really great to see, but we had asked in addition for a park further inland in Court Square, so we'll have to see if anything is happening with that. I know the Parks Department is doing the site acquisition and things like that, so we'll have to stay on top of that. Education infrastructure, they announced 1,300 new school seats, so that's 2 elementary schools, a middle school, and a new home for BSGE. These were all things that we had asked for. Waterfront connectivity, they established the waterfront access plan linking Gantry to Queensbridge Park. On infrastructure and resilience, they said they were going to do sewer and stormwater upgrades and flood mitigation investments. We don't have details on that yet, so we'll have to stay on top of that one. And then, as Anatole mentioned, they're going to create a community oversight committee to track the delivery of these commitments and to ensure transparency. So we'll have to fight for exactly what that looks like. So where work still remains, that's a lot of good stuff, but we want a few other things. So there's funding announced, but there's no published sequencing plan showing when and how the infrastructure is going to be delivered relative to development. So that's something that the oversight committee is going to have to take a hard look at. Park space, I mentioned the park in the Court Square area that we'll follow up on. There was nothing that I saw about the IBZ. There was nothing about the industrial core, the creative businesses, maker spaces. That was a major pillar of our plan. So we'll have to ask about the status of the sort of IBZ adjustments that we'd asked for. There was also nothing that I saw about arts and culture commitments. We had a pretty detailed arts policy framework. We had FAR bonuses, an arts fund, a lot of other stuff. None of that was in the council's release. So that might still require some, budgetary commitments outside the ULURP process, but we'll follow up on exactly what that looks like. Carisha might know more, but that's a to-do for us. There was no mention of Blissville, which is disappointing. We had explicitly asked Blissville to be included in, the environmental and infrastructure mitigation plans. So that's a gap in equity coverage. So hopefully we see something from the city soon about Blissville. We had asked for a local hospital that was not addressed in the final plan. And then lastly, the oversight committee, it's a good start, but there's no formalized memorandum of understanding or points of agreement that we've seen yet with funding timelines. So again, we're going to be fighting for all of that. So those are the key priorities that are yet to come. There's probably going to be more that's going to be released after the final vote. So we'll stay on top.
Christine, can I ask a question first, since I have the mic? Just on the arts and culture piece, just friendly amendment. I don't think it's that we might need to investigate. I do think we need to investigate. And I don't think it's just whether Carisha knows. I think we should, as a board, know what the response was on that, because that was pretty
100%.
detailed. Yeah.
Yep, totally agree.
And I think a major issue that is not addressed that were in our recommendations. One was for eliminating the no unlimited height provision. The unlimited height provision. That is not the only place we got any reduction in height or limitation on height is for the 100 feet along 21st Street facing Queensbridge. And that is a win. I'm glad we got that, but the rest of the district is going to be a free-for-all of gigantic buildings, huge, which I think unfortunately we only got the renderings that showed that height at the very end of the process, but I feel that that's a huge loss. The other, and similarly, the modification of the, zoning to reduce the base zoning so that the bonus provisions would not, result in even bigger buildings and even more units. So I think that those were, and we will have no influence on this once the ULURP is adopted. That's law, and these buildings are going to go up without any review. They're going to be as of right. They're not going to be reviewed by us.
Yep, that's a really good point. Some of these other investments we can still lobby for. We can ask for an arts fund and all that kind of stuff, but the unlimited height, that's going to be law, so that can't be changed.
Yeah, I would also say a big piece that's missing is utilization of the public land and incorporating additional open space on the public land. That seems to be, just no response to that at all. No additional public land. Only, and it is significant, the baby park, but, we did advocate for additional public land, additional open space on the public land.
Yep.
Hey, for me, thanks for the update. I had a question about the waterfront. I believe before the committee voted, we got an update from DCP that gave the impression, why is it echoing so much? That the Con Ed waterfront would in some way be diminished, and then there was a rally shortly before the committee vote, and I candidly don't know, and there was talk about funding. I didn't fully follow just before the vote. I honestly don't know what the state is with respect to the waterfront and the Con Edison property. So if you have any more clarity on that, I would love to.
I don't know all the details, but it seems like there was a negotiation sticking point where Con Ed wasn't going to make its full site available for the connected waterfront. And Julie Wan hosted that rally as a show of community force to try to get that concession. And I think it worked, and Con Ed conceded. Anatole, you might know more about the details of that than I do, but that was basically it. Con Ed conceded we're going to get the connected waterfront.
So is that different from what we were told at the last meeting by DCP, which was that it would be sort of like a diminished waterfront at the Con Ed property?
I believe so. So
Okay.
there were two properties that were mentioned. It was mentioned that Con Ed and NIPA would get these sort of exceptions to the waterfront access plan. When Julie Wan pushed back on both of them, NIPA immediately said it's fine, and they consented to the original waterfront access plan. Con Ed was trying to negotiate, and that's when she had the rally, and then Con Ed relented.
Awesome.
So it's all
Thank you.
now.
Thank you.
Is DCP still here? So is it correct that the only thing that's agreed to by NIPA and Con Ed at this point is a 40-foot wide strip along their properties? Is that correct? So there would be no, additional open space or areas for benches or other kinds of active or passive recreation in that area. It would just be a long straight walkway. Is that the current state?
Yeah, so okay. All right, so I just want to clarify a little bit. Whenever we presented at the Land Use Committee last month, we were discussing the mods presented or requested by the CPC. So that's where we started talking about like the different kind of modifications that might occur on the Con Ed property. As for the status of negotiations with Con Ed, I am not aware of where they are at. That's way above me. So I can definitely, once the final plan has been voted on, which I believe is planned for next week, I will have probably more access and insight to the information. But at this point in time, I don't have like a final understanding of where those negotiations are at.
And I think it's been disappointing in general, just not having access to this kind of information. I wish Julie Wan's office were here. I know we said this multiple times in our land use committee meeting, but it would have been nice to be brought along to all this stuff. Cool. Thank you.
Oh, Kenny has a question. All right. Oh, that was the pop. Okay. Yeah, Kenny.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Oh, I just wanted to clarify, did I understand that Katie just said that the CPC requested that the waterfront access be more narrow?
She's walking up.
And if so, I'm wondering why.
So yeah, the CPC had a couple of modifications to the plan that they wanted to see. One of them was related to the Con Ed property. So it was like a stipulation in the waterfront access plan that would basically kind of alter the requirements for Con Ed to, like, one of the things that you have to do before you build out the waterfront access space is that's like induced by development first. And so the stipulation was to take out the requirement that they would have to redevelop their property before providing the short public walkway. So all of the other sites have to build something and then they build the short public walkway. So the exception is that Con Ed doesn't have to redevelop to then be required to develop the walkway. Does that clarify?
I think I understand. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Nope. One more.
So that's all right. I think from what I read, there's nothing really transportation related that got released in the agreement. There were big asks like build more subways, but it is disappointing that along the whole process, as they're planning this new dense neighborhood, there's no plan for how the people travel. So that was always our complaint. It can be fixed by more bus service, and they are trying to improve subway service, but for those building, there's full trains here.
Yep, duly noted. I'm excited about the FM swap. That'll be good, but yeah, nothing additional from this, which is disappointing.
Yeah, and did they release all of the spaces under the bridge that DOT had? I'm not sure about what the baby park is.
I believe so, from judging from the press release, but I honestly don't know the status of all those negotiations. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's all shrouded in mystery right now.
But at least that is the latest. So thanks, Pramit. All right, let's try to go through the Riley, you're next anyway. Let's try to go through these in 2 minutes each. So that's 12 minutes if we can do it.
Yeah, I'm going to be very fast because DOT has not come to our meetings for the past 2 months. So we don't have much to do if DOT is not there. We talk about problem areas and things that need to be fixed. At this week's Transportation Committee meeting, nothing. We had sent out letters to different agencies last month about things that we think need better addressing, like when roads get milled and repaved and restriped, the process just takes way too long, and we go months without crosswalks and bike lanes and safe streets. We sent a letter about Omni and whether that's still a thing that people are being affected by, and definitely we should know at the point of service whether we're getting a transfer or getting charged. The only other thing is when the MTA shut down the 7 train a couple weekends ago, it is worth noting that they worked on 23 separate projects, which somebody with the MTA said might be some kind of a record. So they used their time wisely and did something really impressive. Danielle.
They have opened just this week after the marathon, the PAP on Concrete. This makes my life very good.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, that was promised.
Yeah, I was watching that every day and I saw it was open. It's not painted yet, but I think paint is all going to happen one day.
Awesome. Lauren.
Okay. For our October meeting, we had 2 presentations. One was from Department of Social Services. So we had the Deputy Commissioner, Jamar Hooks, and Borough Director of Queens and Staten Island, Samuel Clark, provide updates on shelters in our district and the needs. And I just wanted to point out one thing. I mean, one of the concerns that came up really had to do with the cessation of the SNAP benefits and the impact and how that was going to cause stress on the food pantries in our community. So that's one of the things that we added. We'd already had a need state, a priority about like adding a pantry, but we also wanted to make sure that our pantries are stocked. So making sure there's funding and everything for that. So he had certain recommendations. So it's in terms of like directing people to food pantries, adopting a shelter, which could provide employment and training opportunities. And then also a need for like winter donations. So coats, gloves, and scarves, which is something that we've done annually. But I just, just one of the things that was just really impressed upon us and concerned the members of our committee was just being able to provide for people in these dark times. And then the second presentation was given by Maggie Gavin, who is the founder and operator of Soul Hug Movement, which works with infants and toddlers and caregivers and has different offerings in terms about movement and brain development, just so educational. And Amparo introduced her to us because she used her service. But I want you to keep an eye out for our minutes, which have a lot of information, and it's also going to include Maggie's presentation. Our November meeting is being canceled. We extended invitations, and so we're waiting responses in terms of, having guest speakers come. So just watch out. We'll be back in December.
Awesome.
Okay.
Danielle.
I don't have much to say because our meeting is this Wednesday at 6:30, but I will tell you this in answer to the gentleman's question earlier, that cannabis retailers have to be in high dense areas, which we are, have to be 1,000 feet away from another one. That is a rule. However, it is not true that you can't be a business owner with a liquor license and not have it, and you can have a cannabis license, you just can't have it in the same place. So that is the role, and he will hopefully come to our meeting and we'll talk about that. And I do want to remind everybody again that we're going to have the manager from the nightclub for the building come next week. If you all want to come and vent your frustrations on that issue, please do. Wednesday at 6:30. I have no idea what day of the week that is or what date that is. So the 12th. Who's next?
Awesome. Great. Any questions?
No.
Nope. All right. Thank you. Do you want to do arts and culture, Eric?
Do you remember at the beginning of the meeting, like 2.5, 3, 4, 5 hours ago, Permeet said something complimentary about the 29th Street mural plaza at LaGuardia Community College. At Arts and Culture, we had the artist at our meeting. Her name is Fernanda Contreras, LaGuardia Community College student who won the contest. We learned more about her. She talked about her background and shared kind of some of the designs that led to the mural. You can follow her at contreras.nyc on Instagram. We also had updates from the Chocolate Factory and the Franklin Furnace Archive, Kukula Dance Company, Long Island City Artists and Culture Lab. I wanted to point out on your tables is the flyer from the Historic Districts Council with the QR code for the preservation survey. So we encourage folks who can identify spaces and sites of buildings that are worthy of preservation to fill out that survey, and please circulate that. Our next meeting is not next week due to Veterans Day. It'll be on Monday, November 17th. We'll have Flushing Town Hall. The arts grants for organizations and artists are open through December 18th. So we'll have them there to talk about the application process. And then we'll have the director of the Natural Occurring Cultural Districts New York organization, and she's going to talk to us about their work, particularly as it relates to the LIC planning area. So that should be interesting. So,
amazing.
Yeah.
Any questions? Thank you. Awesome. Carlos isn't here, so I think we can skip environment. And there is no Environment, Parks and Recreation Committee meeting this month either, due to Thanksgiving. So I think same with small business maybe, but we'll confirm. And lastly, Tanya, you got big things going on.
So this month we had Jeremy Parking, political director at Yes on Affordable Housing, and he came to speak about some of the ballot questions 2, 3, 4, and 5, and explain what were the housing opportunities in our community. The purpose of this meeting was just to have information and with no intent to have our attendees to influence in a yes or a no vote. We also had a conversation about inactive CV2 links through the staff findings and some revisions from our new co-chair, Amaris. So he actually helped us. It was a great presentation, by the way. Through coding, he helped us understand how can we have an efficient workflow. So if you would like to learn more about it, I encourage you to check out our meeting in the YouTube channel. And I also want to say that we are starting a holiday food drive, and it's going to be open till Christmas. And we have successfully partnered with La Jornada and with St. Raphael's Church. We're waiting for 2 more churches, so we'll let you know. The flyer will be out soon. And we ask you to please do donations in these sites because we all know what's happening through the SNAP benefits and these challenging times for our neighbors. That's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Congratulations, strawberries. Yes.
No, but this food drive, this is fantastic. I encourage all of us to participate and contribute.
What exactly I'm going to talk about, first of all? Is it the link or just general?
Tech committee and
So
what do you want to do with it?
So I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to be chair of the technology committee. Or just mentioned something that was something which is that I want to bring in community collaboration, and part of that is anyone who's in the tech, comes to nonprofit, individuals, or just anyone in the board here. If you guys participate, I encourage you guys to just come in, participate. In terms of the coding, so I made a code that is in Python. So if you have Python skills and you want to collaborate, it is the district manager is going to release the minutes that will include a GitHub link. So you can make a pull request and make any changes that you think will be necessary for that particular code. And then we'll be able to review it. And if it's something that is beneficial, we can go ahead and merge the code. So if you have that kind of skill set, or if you don't, you can ask someone else to do that request for you. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you.
Yeah. I think that's the first time the words pull request have been said at a community board meeting. So we're breaking new ground already. Yeah, talk about leap forward. I mean, technically pull request is like, you get the code and you make it work somehow. It's a download. It's a download.
Can I just add to that? I mean, the whole goal here is that, so when it comes to this script that I created, it's something that is helpful for us at the moment, but I don't want it to die with me, in the sense that if I leave, who else is going to be able to look at the code and actually use it? So I want to make sure that everyone has access to it. You guys know that, you're aware that it exists, and it's a living document. So if anyone wants to make some kind of suggestions, it's there. And if you look at it, you know they exist, you'll be able to leverage it as well. So it's not just living on my computer, it's in the cloud. And if you think that it's going to be beneficial for the next board or the next group coming in, they'll be able to pull it and run the code as well.
Yeah, and that's institutional knowledge, and setting these things up is like that's definitely the goal of the next year and moving forward. I should also mention Randy Plummel, our newer board member. I don't know if Randy's on right now, but if I remember correctly, Randy wrote the book for a presidential administration on technology and how to digitize and do digital transformation and stuff like that. So we got good talent right now for this. Also, I don't know if I mentioned earlier, Patrick will chair the bylaws working committee. So exactly, who better than the parliamentarian to parliament this up? And without further ado, motion to adjourn. All right. Thank you so much.